are again, probably wondering what's with the ocean and the waves. That's the quiet before the storm. And if you haven't checked your news channel and weather channels lately, you'd have missed the fact that there's a storm advisory been put out. Big storms coming this weekend, Saturday to be exact. But this storm will have nothing to do with Mother Nature. This storm will be touching down and landing in the middle of a boxing ring. That's right. Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson. Mr. Oscar Valdez, 30-0, will be fighting Mr. Shakur Stevenson, 17-0. And although there's a slight disparity in the fights of both fighters, I don't think that's going to matter. Oscar Valdez, the hardened veteran, Mexican-style, come-forward fighter and warrior that he is, will be facing Mr. Shakur Stevenson, young upcoming fighter, already made a name for himself and looking to further that name with a victory over Mr. Valdez. And as we know, Mr. Stevenson prides himself on his ability to hit and avoid being hit. But will that work against Mr. Valdez? That is the question. I do believe, due to Mr. Shakur's defense and very crisp offense, he stands a great chance to beat Mr. Valdez. On the other hand, Mr. Valdez has a slight experience advantage besides the number of fights on Mr. Shakur. Valdez is a veteran of many wars. I'm not talking that technical boxing business. I'm talking bang, bang, cuts over the eyes, blood everywhere, war. I have not seen Shakur Stevenson in such a situation as of yet. That is quite normal for Valdez. Most of his fights are of that nature. And if he can bring that to Mr. Shakur Stevenson and sustain it, he stands a slight chance. But I will say slight. I normally don't predict the outcome of fights. I hate doing that because, as you know, I'm Tyson Douglas, etc., etc. Another important significance to this fight is the fact that both boxers have perfect records. And if you don't know what a perfect record is when the fighter has 0 losses. But in order to make that a legit perfect record, the boxer must have at least 1 win. And he is perfect at that point. With both of these fighters having perfect records, this will be the classic someone's O has to go. I see Oscar Valdez as a more come-forward offensive fighter first and maybe defense second, as opposed to Mr. Shakur Stevenson, who I see as defense first and offense second. But we do know that the Oscar Valdez type, the Mexican-style warrior type, pleases the fans greater. And I think the boxing Puritans would be pleased to see Mr. Shakur Stevenson apply his trade in the effective manner that he normally does. Clean strikes and very good defense. Although I've never seen Shakur Stevenson in a situation where he was tested and there might be doubts about him, I do believe if that's to occur, it will occur in this fight. I honestly believe Oscar Valdez will provide Shakur Stevenson with all the tests he needs to prove himself. So in closing, ladies and gentlemen, I recommend you batten down your hatches, secure your windows in your home, make sure your living room is prepared, because this is going to be a great storm. This is going to be an epic storm, and greater than the storm, the end results shall resonate forever.